Hello dear students, welcome in one of the most important session, one of the most important session of accountancy. As I say, two matters you must remember, you must do it with full conceptual clarity to learn accounts. One, types of transaction and its rules. Second, types of accounts and its debit credit rules. In last session, we understood the classification of transaction, business, non-business, and from business we made some parts. One on the basis of signature, another first of all economic, then non-economic. In economic transaction, what we did, try to remember. Okay, let me give you an advice. Every time while attending accounts lecture, you must keep your textbook and even the classwork, or if you remember, I suggest you to prepare one small diary or notebook to write some golden rules provided by us, which is normally not given in simplified words in the textbook. Okay, so always try to prepare that, and while attending accounts lecture you must have that with you, handy. So if I ask this kind of question, that what is classification, within a second, within a minute I can say, you can go through it and can at least reply in your own way. Though I cannot hear it, but I can have that confidence step by step. Because in last lecture only I suggest to prepare it. So I'm sure you are not going to waste the time. I'm going to prepare as early as possible, because you are supposed to write all this in that diary also. So you have to write all these 6 in 2 books. One, specially prepared for a long time investment. Yes, that diary or that small book with rules of accounts you are going to preserve for a longer time, and a classwork for our academic purpose. Okay, in classification we did economic and non-economic. Then under the head of economic we make 2 parts, one as per the nature, another as per the internal or external. Nature, as I said, is very important. That is cash transaction, credit transaction, other transaction. Today we are going to understand the rules of identification of cash or credit transaction. But before that, before we start this, let's do a little bit revision of meaning of cash transaction, credit transaction and other transactions. What do we mean by cash transaction? What do we mean by cash transaction? Yes, whenever goods, services or assets exchanged in exchange of cash, it is known as cash transaction. Now listen, if you are using the word between 2 or more person, naturally when we are using the word exchange, it's always between 2 or more person. I can't exchange, suppose I am having 2 pockets, I can't exchange rupees from my hand to another hand, from this pocket to this pocket, and I said I exchange. No, I took pen from this pocket, put it into this pocket, and money from this pocket or this, Then I said I exchanged. No, it's not an exchange. It's very simple. So what I want to say, if you are not using the words between two or more persons, it's very okay. Here the important concept is exchange of goods, services or assets in exchange of cash. That is known as cash transaction. Okay, so this is the meaning. How can we identify that we discussed just now? Clear? Credit transaction. What do we mean by credit transaction? Very, very simple. Whenever goods, services or assets exchanged, but the exchange of cash postponed on future date, it is known as credit transaction. Goods, service or assets exchange, but not exchanging the cash. It's postponed on future date. Is it simple? Yes, obviously. It's very, very simple and so clear to you. Okay? So let me suggest one thing. Before you write this in your diary, first of all, do write the meaning of cash transaction. Then write the rules. Then meaning of credit transaction. Then write the rules. Okay? If you write it in this way, while referring it, whenever it is needed, you can refer it. While referring it, everything is there in the diary and not in very lengthy format. Clear? Meaning of cash transaction. You can just revise the lecture a little bit and can get it. Meaning of credit transaction. Again, I said almost for 2 times. Clear? Now, one of the most important point. Even your elder students, even your senior students used to say, these are the golden rules. Yes, they said these are the golden rules. Why golden? Because it's extremely useful to you. It was useful to them also. Let's start. How can we identify whether it's a cash transaction or a credit transaction? We cannot identify on the basis of meaning. On the basis of meaning only, we cannot identify. Okay? So let's go through the rules for identification of cash and credit transaction. First of all, cash transaction. How can we say that any particular transaction is a cash transaction or a credit transaction? On the basis of these rules, there is no need to remember this in chronological order. But yes, you can remember that there are 3 rules for cash transaction, 2 for credit. And in both of it, obviously, one rule is extremely simple and matter of common sense. But because it is a rule, we also have to write it. Okay, I also, as well as you also have to write it with example. Yes, I gave some examples also. And I wish that you should write at least 2 to 3 examples per rule. One, I gave over here. Another, you should frame in your own way. In every, okay? First one. Very, very simple and matter of common sense. When the word cash or check is given in the transaction, everywhere you have to just feel that here it is in the transaction, it is known as cash transaction. Means it is somewhat like that. When the word cash or check is given in the transaction, it is a cash transaction. Okay? Now it's a matter of common sense. When the word cash is clearly mentioned, it's always a cash transaction. Okay? But word check is also. Because as I said earlier, here cash transaction does not mean currency notes only. The word cash transaction is having broader meaning. So it always includes all the check transactions also. And nowadays, though it is not given in textbook, but let me inform you, it always cover all the bank transaction. Means if it's a transaction of RTGS, if it's a transaction of NEFT, all such transactions are included in cash transaction. Is that clear? Here, the example for this rule, one of the easiest rule, goods of rupees 10,000 purchased from A. A is a party's name. A for cash. Here the word cash is clearly given. So that shows that we purchased from A goods of 10,000 and we paid cash. Cash exchange on the spot. Okay? Next one. Second, when opposite party's name, important one, mind well. When opposite party's name is not given. When opposite party's name is not given. The example, goods of 5,000 sold. Here you can easily say that opposite party's name is not given. Now take care. Try to listen carefully. Yes, with full concentration. You may have a question in your mind. Sir, how is it possible? Without opposite party, our transaction is possible. Because you yourself said that whenever exchange is there, always two parties are there. Yes, I agree. So here also, we sold goods. But to whom? Party must be there, na? Yes, party is there. Opposite party is there. Then why we are not writing it? Suppose here opposite party's name is B. Why we are not writing to B? Goods of 5,000 sold to B. Why we are not writing like that? Because for us, there is no need to remember opposite party's name. Why? Because we already received cash. We give goods to him. Matter ends. Still confused? Okay? Let me give you an example. Definitely you agree with me that yes, whenever it's a fully cash transaction, no need to remember opposite party's name. No need to write opposite party's name. Definitely. You all agree with me with this example. 101% I can say with guarantee, all of you must visited one of the shopping mall one or another time. Maybe for more time. So many shopping malls like Big Bazaar, Reliance Mall, D-Mart. So many malls are there. For shopping purpose, we visited that. Okay, let's take an example with the name Reliance Mall. Definitely, we all visited that mall at once at least. Or if not, D-Mart or Big Bazaar. See here the name of mall is not important. Try to take care of the example. Try to understand the example. Here, We went there. We picked up something because self-service is there. We do some shopping. Stand in a queue with the stand, with the trolley. When our turn is there, listen carefully. What we are going to do, from the trolley, we used to put all the goods on cash counter. Then we just do that all marks and such things and prepare a bill. The cash counter, the cashier gives us that bill. We are paying either by card or by currency notes. One thing, is that cashier going to ask your name? Sir, may I know your good name? No. At least I know that very well. I visited so many times. Nobody asked my name. Never. Because what is the use of asking such name? When we are paying amount, they are giving goods, matter settled. No need to ask the name. And how can he say that whether we are answering correct or not? If he asks me my name, and I said something else, not the actual name, how he can come to know? You may say, sir, he can ask for ID card, but can you tell me what is the need of it? When I am paying amount, I am purchasing goods, what is the need of asking the name? If your mom or your elder sister or you yourself went to a vegetable vendor, vegetable market, purchase some vegetables, then some fruits, paying the amount, are they going to ask your name? No. Are we going to ask their names? No. So what I wanted to say, whenever goods or services exchanged in exchange of cash, no need to write the name. No need to write the name. That's why whenever such a transaction is given to you without the name of opposite party, it is always a cash transaction. Okay? It may be goods of 5,000 sold, it may be goods of 10,000 purchased, it may be machine of 1 lakh purchased, it may be whatever it may be. Whenever the opposite party's name is not given, always a cash transaction. Is it clear? Sure? Now, a small thing. I am always using the word opposite party. What does it mean? Yeah, it's the beginning of accounts, huh? So please try to understand these things very clearly. Whenever we are preparing accounts, we are never writing our own name. In our books of accounts, we are never writing our own name. Is that clear? So, whenever transaction happened between us, for example, I myself, Darpan Dolakia, if I am preparing account of my business, in that books of accounts, Darpan Dolakia's name will not be there. Okay? Whenever I am doing a transaction with you, one party, I myself, another party, you, yourself. For me, you are opposite party. For me, you are opposite party. So I have to write your name, not my name, but obvious. Is that clear? Any problem? Indirectly, you can say in a lighter way, majak ma, but it's very important to remember. We can use such words. Account will never use its owner's name. Account કોઈ દિવસ પોતાનું નામ બોલે નહીં. Like a human being. Okay? આપણે પણ આપણું નામ નથી બોલતા. Just થોડી મજાકમાં વાત કરીએ. I will not take your example. Let me take my own example. Suppose I am watching a cricket match at my home. I am watching a cricket match at my home. Last over is going on. I am always in favor of India. So I am sure that India is going to win the match. We are in batting. And Indian team is in batting. Only 12 runs remaining for a victory. First ball, duck, means 0 run. Only 2 wickets in hand. It's almost a day-night match. So I can say nearby 9 o'clock at night. And my mom called me. Darpan, dinner is ready. Come here. I'm busy in watching match. So at first, I even didn't listen that. મને ખબર જ નથી મમ્માએ બોલાવ્યો. Okay? Second ball. 2 runs. 10 runs left in 4 balls. 2 wickets. Third ball. 4 runs. 6 runs left. 3 balls left. 2 wickets. Again mama called me. Darpan, dinner is ready. We are waiting for you. I am having 100% concentration. You also felt the same so many times while watching serial or TV match or something like that. Mama called twice and we are not even replying. See, we do not have manners, it's not like that. But our mind is 100% busy in match, in serial. So we are not concentrating over there. Again a ball. A wicket fall down. Now 1 wicket left. 2 balls left. And 6 runs. It's a crucial time. The batsman who got out went to the pavilion. New batsman came, discussing some strategy. So time passed. Now mama with a little bit angry tone. Darpan, I called you twice. મેં તને 2 વાર બોલાવ્યો. જમવા આવે છે? બધું ઠંડુ થઈ જાય છે. Then I realized. What I reply? What am I going to reply? If you are at my place, તમારા નામથી બોલાવતો હોય, what you are going to reply? Yes, આવું છું. 1 minute. 2 જ બોલ બાકી છે. Somewhat like that. Mama, please, just 2 minutes. Somewhat like that. Am I going to utter my own name? When mama called me for 3rd time, Darpan આવે છે કે નહીં? Am I going to say, wait, Darpan આવે છે? No. It looks so funny, so odd. What I wanted to say, we are not uttering our own name. In the same way, account કોઈ દિવસ પોતાનું નામ બોલે નહીં. So our name we are not going to write in the accounts, and so I am using the word opposite party's name. Is that clear? Please do remember this rule, these words. Account કોઈ દિવસ પોતાનું નામ, પોતાનું means owner's name will never be recorded in the books of accounts. Okay? In further practical chapters, it will be extremely useful to you. And whenever you feel something strange, always try to remember this example. That Pansar is watching match and his mama coding once, twice, and what he is going to reply. Okay? Let's again on the topic. So whenever opposite participle is not given, always it's a cash transaction. Like goods of 5,000 sold, like machine of 1 lakh purchased, and whatsoever. Next, one of the most important rule. When a special word which shows exchange of cash, some words when we are using, that word reflects exchange of cash. If such word is given in the transaction, it is always a cash transaction. For example, the words like paid, received, deposited, etc., even withdrawn, if these words are used, it always shows a cash transaction. For example, paid salary to A rupees 10,000. Now here, word cash is not given. Party's name is given. But when we are using the word paid, what does it mean? Exchange of cash. We paid salary to one of our employee named A. That it shows. So here we can say this is a cash transaction. Received bank interest rupees 5,000. Even we can write, you can say, here party's name is not given. I can add from State Bank of India. From State Bank of India. Okay? So here, party's name is given, State Bank of India. But the word received shows we are receiving amount, exchange of cash. Is that clear? So very quickly, word cash is given or check is given. It's a cash transaction. Opposite party's name is not given. It's a cash transaction. And a special word which shows, which reflects exchange of cash, like paid, received, withdrawn, deposited. Then also it is always a cash transaction. Is that okay? Please do frame 2, 3, 5 examples for each rule. Because if you start framing example by your own, that shows that you are creating interest, and when you are creating interest in the subject, always that subject becomes very easy for you. Again an example. Suppose some of you may love watching movies. Movie જોવાનું બહુ ગમતું હોય, શોખ હોય. Okay? Deep interest in movies. Now, today, it's a hectic schedule. For example, from morning onwards, you wake up, went to school, hectic schedules in school also, came back, do your homework, again in the evening, some test related work and everything is going on, took your dinner. At night, today is Saturday, let's for example, tomorrow no school. At night, at almost 10:30, a movie will be there in a channel. You want to watch that movie. Do you think, as you are very tired, you are going to bed at 10, 10:30 or 11 and not going to watch the movie? Sure. You are going to watch the movie, entire movie, with full interest. You may go to bed at 1, 1:30. No sign of tiredness. Why? Because you are interested in movies. In the same way, in whichever the matter, if you create interest, definitely you love to do it and you never feel tired. Okay? You forgot your physical incapabilities. You forgot your physical limitations. You involved in it. Yes, that's what I want to say. Now, this is the time for you to create interest in academic subjects because it's new for you. If you create interest, you will love that subject and definitely you will get the concept of that subject. And if you are having conceptual knowledge, no one can beat you. Mind well, my friends. If you are having conceptual knowledge, degree is entirely a different case. Okay? Because you are going to do the job. Because you are going to do the business, not your degrees. If someone is going to get a degree of chartered accountant, if someone is going to get a certificate of doctor, degree of doctor, it will not give an assurance to them for a financial security. If you become a doctor, you means a person of science. Become a doctor, it will not an assurance. It will not give an assurance that he or she will earn 5 lakh rupees a month. It may be possible that doctor will earn 10 lakh, 50 lakh rupees a month. But it may be possible that doctor earn 50,000 a month. Same for chartered accountant. Same for any Tom, Dick and Harry. Degree will not give you a certain financial assurance. That depends only and only person's own capabilities, conceptual knowledge, interest in the subject, involvement, dedication, all that. So I wish you must create interest, go through such tricks and try to shine out like anything. So definitely world will be yours after 5-7 years. These are the cash transactions. Let's go through credit transaction. First one. Okay, before that, very quickly, let's go through the meaning. When, yes, try to speak with me. When goods, service or assets exchanged and money, exchange of money, exchange of cash postponed on future, it is known as, is that okay? Credit transaction. First one. Again, matter of common sense, very, very simple. When the word credit is clearly given in the transaction, it's always a credit transaction. When the word credit is clearly given in the transaction, it's always a credit transaction. It's a matter of common sense. Still, let's write an example. Goods of 10,000 sold to B on credit. Here the word credit is clearly mentioned, and so it is a credit transaction. Okay? Nothing new for that. This one is important. In both, here this rule is a matter of common sense, here this rule is a matter of common sense. So in cash transaction you have to remember this two only. You have to write all three, but for this you naturally not need to work hard. The word itself is given. the word itself is given. So in this you have to work for this too. In the same way, for credit transaction you have to work for this. When opposite party's name is given and word cash or check is not given, no clarification of cash or check. No clarification of cash or check. Even special word is not given naturally. Okay? Then it is a credit transaction. See, when opposite party's name is given, here opposite party's name is there. But here the word cash is given. So this is a cash transaction. So I write in word cash or check is not given. Is that clear? Even special word should not be there. Okay? For example, goods of rupees 5,000 purchased from A. A is the name of opposite party. We are purchasing goods from A. Is that clear? Is there any clarification of exchanging cash? No. So it is a credit transaction. Is that clear? When opposite party's name is given and no clarification of cash or check is given, it is always a credit transaction. Purchase furniture. Another example. Purchase furniture of rupees 50,000 from Bharat Furniture House. Purchase furniture of rupees 50,000 from Bharat Furniture. This is the name of party. Is that clear? Okay. Now, here let me inform you. In credit transaction, party's name must be there. Must be. In credit transaction, party's name must be there. Why is it so? Shukan bhai, what is the reason behind it? Because all the credit transaction create, listen carefully, do concentrate over here. All the credit transaction always create a relationship of debtors creditors. Again the terminology. What do we mean by debtor? What do we mean by creditor? Very, very simple. Whenever we are selling goods on credit, selling goods, the person from whom we are going to receive the amount in future is known as debtor. Again, when we are, suppose I am selling goods to you on credit. On credit means I am not receiving the amount. I am selling goods to you on credit, not receiving the amount. Okay? In that case, you are my debtors, because the person from whom we are going to receive the amount. Naturally, I am going to receive the amount from you, so you are my debtor. Is it okay? Credit transaction always create the relationship of debtor and creditor. Listen carefully again. The same example. I sold goods to you. Now you think from your viewpoint. From your viewpoint, can you say the transaction is somewhat like that? Purchase goods from Darpan sir. For your viewpoint, can I say like this? Purchase goods from Darpan sir on credit. Am I right? Okay. Now you are purchasing. So can I say you purchase goods, you received goods from me, but yet you have not paid. Okay? For you, listen, for you, I Darpan sir is a creditor because the meaning of creditor shows the person to whom we are going to pay amount in future is known as creditor. Here in this case, you are going to pay amount to me in future. So I am your creditor, you are my debtor. Is that clear? Like sales and purchase. In the same transaction, I am selling goods to you, you are purchasing goods from me. Is it okay? Clear? So, please do remember, all credit transaction always create debtor-creditor relationship, and debtor and creditor is always a person. So, opposite party's name must be given. So, opposite party's name must be given. Is that okay? This is credit transaction where opposite party's name must be given. This is cash transaction where we don't need opposite party's name. If we are writing it, it's okay. If you are not, then also it's okay. But if we are writing opposite party's name, we have to use the word cash. If we are writing opposite party's name, we have to use a special word which reflects exchange of cash. If we are writing opposite party's name and no word is used, then it's always a. Is there any problem? A credit transaction. Any problem? Sure? Again, for the last time, bachche log, please, at present, you know that due to this online platform, due to this video lecture system, we don't know each other that perfectly. Okay? So please listen carefully. These are really golden rules, very, very important. If you don't remember this, if you don't understand this, it will be very tough for you after 10-15 days. Because when we are going to start practical numerical chapters, we are going to apply this. Then in the beginning, then and then it's possible for you to solve practical questions. Okay? Try to remember the steps of preparing books of account. First step was voucher. We are going to discuss in next session. Second step, most important, I said it that time also. Most important. What was it? Identification of transaction. Okay. On that basis, third step, journal, which is a first book, primary book of numericals, will be prepared. So again, for the last time, I'm not requesting, I'm suggesting that you must clear the fundamentals of cash and credit transaction. And as you know very well, if you are having any confusion in any of the part of this session or in any of the session, this session why I am using? Because this is most important. If you are confused anywhere, please do contact me as early as possible. But before that, do revise the topic. Okay? Then also, if you are confused, having queries, questions, we are always with you. We are always with you. Just contact me and we'll solve the doubt in a very simple way. Is it okay? So work for it with full concentration and be ready for the next session with vouchers and some other interesting topics. Till then, do work for this and stay safe, stay happy. Take care of yourself.